So let's discuss our describe fixed foam fire extinguishing system. Purpose used for extinguishing fire in large open spaces, engine room, cargo hold and decks. Component foam tank concept proportioning device, distribution piping and nozzles, foam monitors working the system, discharge of foam water mixture over fire creates a blanket smothering the fire and cooling the surface, preventing ignition of an oil on chemical fires. Okay. Pressure testing of CO2 bottles of fixed fire frequency, typically 10 years, depending on flag state regulation and class society requirement. Testing of atmospheric pressure is done to check for leaks or structure failure. Bottles are filled with water pressurized to 1.5 times the working pressure. Any deformed or leaked render water will unfit for use. Now, fixed CO2 DG shipping requirement is pressure testing of all CO2 piping systems at 5, 10, and 15 years. Intervals of CO2 alarm testing 5, 15, and at 5 yearly and every 15 yearly at full noise in full engine noise level. Then weight test every 2 years, and if more than 5% reduction, then refill the radioactive instrument to measure such weight level. Should be removed from ship before sailing. CO2 piping blow through the air every 2 year. Hydrostatic pressure testing of all CO2 bottles at 10 years and after the 20 years and every 5 years. Okay, 10 years, then after the 20-year interval and every 5 years then. Okay, hydrostatic pressure testing of fixed CO2 bottles at 10 year and after the 20-year interval every 5 years. Okay, now CO2 piping below the system with air every 2 years. Okay, okay, fire CO2 piping system pressure testing. Okay, so this is all about your fire times during the 20 test. Requirement for emergency fire pump shall be located of the separated by A60 bulk. Okay, energy added 25 metric cube, a ship of more than cargo ship less than 50 metric cube are. Okay, 100 for passenger of less than 100 GRT and cargo ships of less than 100 GRT. Ships 40% total capacity and the 2 jets of water at good pressure at all hydrants shall be tested every month. Location tested at every month. All hydrants should be tested every month. Okay. Location of emergency fire pump outside engine located is readily accessible during emergency, should not be affected by fire in engine room or main machine. If there is an engine room, then what you will do to start emergency fire? So the area near the pump is safe and to start emergency generator. If you need to activate the pump manually remotely from the designed needed emergency station, check for the pressure buildup and confirm water supply to the fire hydrants. Fire isolation walls on deck and engine room. Deck isolated at strategy points to isolate different sections of fire main systems. Engine room walls to isolate the fire main from machinery spaces in case of pipe damage. This ensure water is available when needed while avoiding loss due to the leak or fire damage on oil carrier and fuel oil carrier. Require additional isolation wall to be fitted in the fireman at the poop in front in protected position on deck, and there was not more than 40-minute isolated section of the fireman. Duties of third officer: overflow of bunker during bunkering operation. Immediate action: stop bunkering operation, activate spill containment system, inform the chief engineer, and monitoring check the affected area and surrounding water was spill spread. Verify tank surroundings and overflow clauses. Environmental measure: deploy spill booms and absorbents. Record incident stages in the oil record book. Follow SOPEP and procedure. What prepare master lead now prepare approve the master, ensuring all crew members are assigned specific duty during the emergency. All record for all ships including cadets for bunkering clause. All record is cargo record entry of daytime and tank detail signature. All record for machinery spaces blasting of cleaning of oil fill tanks. ठीक है, ये तो मारपूल का है. DB tank supporting arrangement, structural component, flow girders and longitudinal stiffener designed to handle loads from cargo, ballast and bending stresses. Purpose: provided strength, prevents bottom deformation and ensure water integrity. Formula for GZ Y2 formula for writing lever is GM sin theta, where GZ equals to Kn minus. General formula for larger angles, K GZ equals to Kn minus Kg sin theta. And Y2 formula, simplified formula, assumes small angles. General formula accounts for larger heels. And who provides MFAG, provide MF, the IMO provide MFAG medical guide for use in involving disease as a part of IMDG. Why bunker tankers are not inerted? Reasons: bunker fuel have a relatively low vapor pressure and a higher flash point than cargo oil. And bunker fuel have relatively low vapor pressure. Okay, inerting bunker tank would add unnecessary complexity and cost. Okay, persisted floaters which annex amendments. Persistent floaters, heavy oils that remain on the water surface for a long time after spill. Annex amendments related to Marpol Annex 1 oil prevention. Extended service life raft. Life raft will extended service interval up to 30 months instead of 12 months are designed for enhanced reliability and durability. Must meet the stringent SOLAS and IMO regulations. Life raft extended service life raft with the extended service life intervals up to 30 months instead of 12 are designated for enhanced reliability and durability. Must meet the stringent SOLAS and IMO regulation. Grey water means what annex applicable. Grey water, wastewater from seeing showers, etc. not covered under Marpol. Black water, sewage regulated under Marpol Annex 6. Discharge criteria for grey water and black water. Regulation 11. Discharge of sewage. The ship must be employed and the requirement shall be sanctioned by the administrative regulation 9.1.2 of the Annex 5. It can of Annex 4. It can discharge reaches even 3 nautical from the nearby if it communicated and disinfectant beyond 2 nautical from. So administrative regulation 9.1.2 of Annex 9.1.2. Okay. Naviga is not treated and ship is underway at a speed not and the discharge must be gradual while the ship is underway at a speed of not less than 4 knots. Okay, ये तो ठीक है. Who issues MS notices? Issued by the maritime administration like DG Shipping in India. MS notices, maritime administration, and purpose to provide guidance, interpret regulation and communicate requirements. Give example of what it says. MS example, MS notices 7 of 2000 implementation of Marpol 6 regulation. Content will include requirement for 0 sulfur guidelines and FONER and procedure for PSC inspection implementation timeline. What is a transform floor? A horizontal crosspiece or a structural beam in architecture or the stern of a ship. Difference between long and trans beam. A horizontal crosspiece or a structural beam in architecture or the MS notices the maritime administration. And what is a transform floor? Is a crosspiece or a structural beam in architecture or the stern of a ship. Reference between long and trans beam. Longitudinal beam are parallel to the length of the ship hull structure, and they are bending stress typically used to resist the bending stress caused by the sagging and hogging. Whereas transverse beam athwart ship by the previous support for the racking forces. Bilge keel, longitudinal long strip of metal attached to the hull of a vessel along the bilge keel. Purpose reduces rolling motion by increasing resistance to water flow during the roll. Not a primary structural member, but critical for enhancing the vessel stability, especially in rough seas. Stiller plate is used in shipbuilding where two plates taper into a single one. A stiller plate is used in shipbuilding where two plates taper into single one to accommodate changes in hull shape. Commonly found at fore or aft sections where the ship narrows, help maintain structural integrity while reducing the weight and ensuring the smooth curvature. Camber, shear force where bending moment cause the ship to bend along the line, typically due to the uneven loading of waves or okay. Now wrecking stresses, okay, warping drum and split drum use. A cylindrical drum attached to the windlass or capstan for handling the mooring line. Purpose and use. Line handling allows mooring lines to be wound or paid out with a controlled tension adjustment. Facilities adjustment to the ship's position during the berthing for mooring operation. Used for upping the ship along the berth by pulling out the mooring line when engines or tugs cannot be used. Features smooth surface to avoid line damage and suitable for manual control of line tensions by turns around a drum. Split drum. So this is purpose and use. Cylindrical attached to the windlass. Purpose and use. Split drum or type of drum commonly used. Reference a cylindrical drum attached to the windlass or capstan used for handling mooring lines, purpose line handling, adjustment operations, and feature smooth surface to avoid line damage, suitable for manual control. As a type of drum commonly used on windlass or winches, that is divided into two sections, one for anchoring operation, one for mooring line handling. And the dual functionally is the split drum allows the same machinery to handle both anchor cables and mooring lines. One part of the drum is grooved for anchor chain, while the other part is sectioned for mooring lines, space spacing, saving, improve safety and control. Okay. Virtual loss of GM, not actual physical loss. Temporary reduction due to liquid free surface effect occurs while partially filled tanks. Depends on the tank dimension, depending on the actual liquid quantity of the season. But for usually discharge cargo first. Midship tank first, then alternate forward and aft. Then alternate forward and aft. Maintain proper stress limit. Maintain stress calculator. Keep cracking, checking the draft service. ISM functional requirements, a safety environment protection by instruction and protection by certificate under STC airspace okay. Additional safety measures for bulkhead as a roadway bill scale running along the bill to reduce the rolling rescue board will not be of less than 3.8 and 8. More than 8.5 meter and then to be capable of this fire seated for dry docking confined dry dock certificate dry dock held proper volumetric heading of grain refer to the heading movement caused by the grain shifting in partially filled compartment controlled by fitting grain shifting board securing arrangement or filling to a safe level. Purging definition, the removal of unwanted gases or vapors by introduction of an inert gas or fresh air purpose to prevent explosion or contamination in tanks. Advantage of bulbous bore reduces the wave making resistance, improving fuel efficiency and speed, reduces the wave making resistance. Okay. IGF, IGC, what is the flash point? IGC code and equipment for the ships carrying liquefied gases in and IGF code or other flow flash wheels are both crucial for ensuring the safety of merchant vessels. IGC code, the IGC code adopted by the IMO sets international standard for the safe carriage by sea in bulk liquefied gases. It applies to ships regardless of their size, including those of less than 500 gross tonnage. The code prescribes designs and construction standards for ships carrying liquefied gases, aiming to minimize risk to the ship, its crew, and the environment. IGF code also adopted by the IMO focuses on the ships using gases other than low flash point as a mandatory provision for the arrangement, installation, control, and monitoring of all machinery, equipment, and systems using these fuels. The code is applied to ships built on or after 2017, filled on at the similar stage of the construction 2008 and delivered on or after the 2021 flash point. The lowest temperature with the fuel vapor ignite is the flash point. Applicability of IGC, the vessel using low flash point plus LNG methanol. IGC code applies to a gas carrier transporting liquefied gases in bulk. Air pollution logbook record compliance with the Marble Access air pollution record. Air pollution logbook on which ships IGF apply. Then air pollution logbook records compliance with Marble Access, enters fuel changeover, ECA compliance, incinerator use, etc. Air pollution logbook, how to reduce air pollution, use of low sulfur reducing NOx emissions, exhaust gas recirculation, Eveder method, water injection emulsions, and executing catalytic reductions, engine component modification, reducing SOx, exhaust cover technology. Gave sums for the reserve buoyancy and coefficient water plane area. Reserve buoyancy is volume of watertight spaces above the water line. Is the reserve key for vessel survivability. Water plane area coefficient, water plane area. Point of contact is the bending moment changes sign from positive to negative, or the approximate change of deck edge inversion. The point is the concavity convex changes to convexity is called point of contact flexure. This occurs upon the deck edge inversion. What is the gunner valley? The upper edge of the ship side where the hull meets the deck. Hull meets the deck. Okay. Now coffer dam. Explain which can you how plan you will find it. Definition: general space between the two watertight bulkhead or a deck to prevent the contamination or leakage. Now what is a shoe plate? Shoe plate is nothing a plate of ship's deck used to connect the stem to the plate. Shoe plate, edge plate of a ship's keel, edge plate of the ship's keel. A bottom edge plate of the ship's keel. Bottom edge of plate of the ship's keel used to connect the stem to the bottom flat keel. Okay, it is at the bottom edge plate of the bottom keel. In the bottom edge plate of the bottom used to connect the stem to the flat plate keel. Stringer plate is one of the plate forming the outer stake of ship's deck and being usually heavier than those used for the rest of the deck. Coffin lid is the plate using the two side plates over the keel vessel, which is the plate which creates a shape similar to the coffin lid. And what is stem? Forward incline of the stem from the keel. Forward incline of the stem from the keel. Keel inclination of the keel from the difference between free fall lifeboat and conventional lifeboat. What will be the requirement of other LSA lifeboat, life or rescue boat? A free fall lifeboat launched by sliding into the water, ideal for quick evacuation. Conventional lifeboat lowered using davits. Other things already discussed. The SOLAS fire safety objectives: prevent the fire occurrences, detect, contain, and extinguish fire effectively, ensure crew safety. DCP extinguisher annual checks for powder clogging, inspection for corrosion or damage, check pressure gauges and within the range. You are loading cargo on deck. What will happen to GM? GM decreases due to the increased center of gravity. Now, type of ship should not be able to answer. Type A ship. Type A ship should not be. Type A ship is designed specifically to carry liquid cargoes in bulk. Here are some key characteristics. Type cargo tanks. That the cargo tanks have small SS opening that are closed by watertight gasket covering made of steel or equivalent materials. Height integrity deck. The exposed type has been integrity means it is designed to prevent water ingress. Low permeability. The cargo compartment have low permeability which enhances safety against flooding. Type A ships benefit from minimum assignment freeboard, which is the design from the waterline to the deck of the ship. MS notices latest one. Check DG website. Okay, yearly PMS of potable DCP visual inspection, powder fluidity check, pressure gauge test, and seal verification. Intact stability criteria for oil tankers. Okay. This ये तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा. Single use plastic plan and explain part of urban requirement reduce the single use plastic on board, require inventory of plastic, alternative use, proper disposal method, record keeping and annual checks for the duty of physical condition, engineer safety net property, rig labor with lights and watch keeper and signing on board laying the restriction, proper communication with the shore visitors, log maintenance. Emergency shutdown is ABs are authorized to push emergency surgeon on board when it is right. AB are authorized to activate as per the instruction from duty officer. Only licensed officer can activate. ESD points. Cargo control room, manifold area, emergency control station. Testing during safety equipment test weekly must be tested before the cargo operations. ABs are authorized to activate as per the instruction from the duty officer. Only licensed officer can activate it. ESD points, cargo control room, manifold area, emergency control station. Testing during the block coefficient. Vessel length 120 into 30 into 6. Find block coefficient. Block coefficient 130 and block यार ये क्या ही है. Shear strike is set up. Okay. What is the flat or convex of the shear of the ship that forms the stern? What is MS notice and what is what are the types of stringer? Bending stringer, spindle stringer, side stringer and hold stringer. Strengthening members at the forward guard, solid frames, floor, stringer beam, keel, hull, deck plating transfer, girders, solid frame, floor, stringer, beam, keel, hull, deck plating transfers, bulkhead, inner bottom shell plating, hull bottom shell plating, transverse frame, keel frame, muster list and a list in details. So basic muster list is a function each member official is required to perform in case of emergency. The muster list shall specify details of the general emergency plan and public address systems prescribed and also action to be taken by the crew and passengers when the alarm is sounded. The muster list shall also specify how order to abandon ship will be given. It is mandatory to provide muster list available on conspicuous area of a ship by SOLAS chapter 3 life saving appliances and arrangement regulation 37. Teams in muster list: command team, emergency team, support team, boat preparation team. certificate under ISMs issued by a company. So interim DOC, short term DOC and SMC ये भी जो भी है. Why do we have a two forward lifer when we need a forward lifer after minimum capacity as the number of person? If the distance of the stand of the from the survival class exceeds 100 then a forward lifer shall be placed at the forward of the minimum. The distance of the stem of the from a survival craft. If the distance of the stern or the stern from a survival craft exceeds from 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 stern or the stem from a survival craft exceeds 100 then capacity number maybe there is HRE present. Why HRE is not there for forward diving because it can be heavy power. Fixed firefighting CO2 is procedure. How to check the CO2 line pressure? Check line pressure from pressure gauge provided on line. There is an alarm providing pressures which know some signal from the. How to check CO2 line? Pipes icy, cool or frozen. Check line pressure from pressure gauge provided online. There is an alarm providing pressure switches. No sound should form the alarm trigger in case of leakage. Effectiveness verification timelines. Immediate check 0 to 30 minutes pressure drop in CO2 bottle, system pressure gauges, temperature reduction, smoke detection, smoke density change, short term 1 to 4 hours, boundary temperature, hotspots, monitoring gas concentration, checks, smoke characteristics, long term 4 to 24 hours, temperature stabilization, no ignition signs, O2 level monitoring, boundary cooling, effectiveness, warning signs of ineffective. Please immediate concern, no pressure drop, no temperature change, continuous thick smoke, hot boundaries. Secondary indicators: smoke color unchanged, high O2 levels, rising temperature, hot spot remaining. Then emergency action: if ineffective, immediate response, check all closures, verify ventilation shutdown, check boundary cooling, prepare for re-relief. Secondary measures: deploy boundary cooling, prepare backup plans, consider port entry, allot shore support. Minimum pressure that can have on SCF for using a decline. So last pack 8 name new few conventions for CLC, International Convention on Civil Liability for Oil Pollution Damage, 69 safe containers, International Convention on Ships, International so cargo residue contained और कितना है